Stephen Curry continues to dominate and leaving doubters feeling regrettable. In a tight series, his 6 finals against one of the best defensive teams in 2022, the 34-year-old shooting phenom has continued to elevate his basketball legacy, the most influential player of this generation, a household name to be forever remembered. Too much debate whether Curry's top 10 almost an unfair standard given the many decades and great players that came before him. No matter what your opinion is, at the end of the day, there isn't more than 10 players who revolutionized the game more so than Steph. In terms of impact on the sport, there will not be 10 players who's had a stronger imprint in the game when it's all said and done. The shooting performances, offensive skills, his size, many will follow his footsteps, but only a handful will end up being half the player he is. People watching the NBA this generation will forever talk to their future kids and grandkids about Curry's abilities and incredible performances and how lucky they were to witness his extraordinary style of play. 10 Steph Curry single game performances that we'll still be in shock by decades later. The game that made him an instant superstar. February 27, 2013. Earlier in the year, Curry snubbed from the All-Star team. Still a question mark as a potential star, his incredible MSG moment gave a warning to the entire league. The 24-year-old, questionable after first couple seasons, overshadowed by ankle problems. This was the game that gave the glimpse that Curry can go down as the best shooter. The beginning of a basketball revolution in the brightest lights of the Mecca. 11 of his 13 three-pointers connected, unstoppable. His first superstar big performance since Davidson gave a preview of his all-around skills from the transition pull-ups, which was considered a sin back in the day. The finishes at the rim. Curry would consistently round up his offensive skills for years to show out, dance to his own confidence. Despite the Knicks winning 109-105, nobody remembered the score or results from that game, the game that brought out the Steph Curry experience. 2013 playoffs game 1 vs San Antonio, 44 points, 11 dimes, his first postseason, an underrated one. After knocking off the 3-seed 57-win Nuggets, made it difficult for the eventual Western Conference champs, powerhouse Spurs. When his greatness just kicking in, hasn't even reached his full potential yet. Some anticipated an easy sweep for the Spurs, but Steph being lights out against an elite defensive team showed his passing as a point guard, stunned every Spurs fan, devastating bombs after another, 22 in the fourth. Curry literally went from non-all-star to a clear-cut superstar, fearless attacking the defense of Kawhi and Duncan's interior presence. The floater and finishes established, a time where Andrew Bogut and Festus Ezeli both started at the same time. Curry proved that he belonged with the best of the best. Despite a Ginobili game winner in double OT, his stock would rise even greater for the coming years. February 2016 at Orlando, 127 straight games with a 3 made, tied with the previous record holder Kyle Korver. Of course, Curry would later break his own record. At the height of his basketball powers, Steph pretty much clinched the MVP months before the season ended. A 51-point barrage improved Golden State's record to 52-5, a 20 of 27 shooting clinic, one of his 10 triples from half court, made everything look flawless, putting in performances the game has not seen. Played on a back-to-back with still a third of the regular season remaining. Curry only needed 10 games after this one to tie his own previous record for most made threes in the season, and of course he connected with over 400. And that wasn't even his best game of that season, because Steph Curry became the greatest shooter all time officially, doing the unthinkable that punctuated his MVP status with an all-time MVP moment. Perhaps the game itself made Steph the first ever unanimous MVP in one of the best regular season games ever televised. No doubt, the greatest Warriors regular season game all time will always be featured in Curry's basketball legacy. Regular season game of the year, the powerhouse superstar Durant and Westbrook, a solid record of their own, 41-17. Final minutes of the game, intense in all types of NBA basketball you'll ever see. OKC up 11 with 5 minutes left. Curry just out of this world, insane threes. Many thought OKC would hold on, up 4 with 14.5 ticks left, but without the help of Steph's teammate, nobody would have experienced the iconic finish. 2 clutch free throws from Iguodala forced OT. Durant fouled out. Curry another insane bomb. Game tied at 118. Curry saved his best for last. Pulled up from near half court. It wasn't even a prayer toss, but his natural shooting motion. Bankers off glass. Double bangs from Mike Breen.
Decide not to use it. Curry way downtown. Bang! Bang!
Everybody speechless. 46 points, broke his own record for most threes in the season, going 12 of 16 from deep. Klay 32 points, Durant and Russ combined for 63. Everybody who watched that game Saturday night left speechless. 2016 Game 4 versus Portland, coming back from a sprained ankle, questions about his conditioning, a record-setting 17 points in overtime, 40 for the game to take a 3-1 series lead, a 132-125 win. Originally expected to play only 25 minutes off the bench, but Sean Livingston ejected second quarter. Believe it or not, Steph didn't make his first three till 4:35 left in the regulation. If Curry was able to just drop 20 off the bench, it'd be a promising sign for his team. Golden State down double digits halftime, ended up playing 37 minutes. Curry also made sure he never lose a playoff game against Dame Lillard's Blazers, very lopsided. 2016 Game 7 vs OKC, a series down 3-1, battle-tested, proved to be the best player on the floor, 36 points, 7 of 12 from deep, Durant 27, Westbrook just 19, Thunder led by 13 at one point. Golden State couldn't do much whenever Steph on the bench, but by the third quarter, the insane layup over the outstretched arms of Durant and Ibaka, schooling the bigger team to end the first half, destroyed Steven Adams out the perimeter. Despite OKC's great defense, Curry dominated that third. The behind-the-back shake on Durant in the fourth, an MVP level type performance. A Game 7 that gets swept under the rug. The whole game was like watching Tom and Jerry. Once the bigger Tom in position to get the little one, Jerry ends up doing something magical and winning the results with satisfying endings. All the early talks in the series, some say Westbrook was better than Steph, but Curry came through when it mattered most in the end and proved why he was unanimous MVP, even though Golden State went up against the giants of Durant, Andre Robertson, Ibaka, and Adams on D. The more balanced and better executed team came out on top. October 24th, 2018 versus the Wizards, masterful 51 points, 11 of 16 from deep, John Wall held to 13, Curry played only 3 quarters. If the game was closer, Steph might have went for 65, a flawless 31 first half, his insane trick shot at the warm-up to set the tone for the rest of the game. At that early point of the season, Curry hit 33 triples, more than 4 teams in OKC, Cleveland, the Clippers, and Pelicans. Absolute stunning display. 2019 vs the Rockets, semifinals Game 6 second half. After Durant went down with injury, third quarter of Game 5, Curry emerged, exploded, putting up 20 in the final 24 minutes. Despite being an absolute travesty in the first half of Game 6, 0 points on 0 of 5 shooting, played just over 12 minutes, 3 fouls, but game tied thanks to Klay Thompson's brilliance. Steph stepped up in the third with 10 points and went bizarre, 23 in the fourth, 6 of 8 shooting. His team outscoring the Rockets 36-26 the final period. It appeared Houston had all the momentum given no Durant and how amazing KD was that whole postseason. Despite Paul and Harden combined for 62, Steph looked like he was gonna have the worst game of his career, but flipped the switch in the blink of an eye. The composure, patience gave Steph the confidence to go on to average over 36 in the sweep versus Portland the next round. From the point Durant went down, the next several games, Curry legit played some of his best basketball. His performances was what other all-time greats do. Ended the CP3 Harden Houston era. All that talk about Paul's injury the previous postseason, while Paul and Harden was healthy in 2019 playoffs and Warriors had Durant go down, and yet Curry proved why Harden and Paul well beneath his greatness on the all-time rankings as vintage a Splash Brother game you'll see. Career best 62 points versus Portland with his team banged up early 2021, having a major carry job. 2 days before Dame Lillard spoke about how difficult it was going to be for Steph to get clean looks, some took it as a little trash talk. Says Curry tougher to get quality looks compared to when Golden State was the best team in the league. Some still question Curry's legacy even though he was already an all-time great. Shot 18 of 31 from the field, 8 of 16 from 3, 18 of 19 from the line, just 36 minutes, high quality shots in a time where fans weren't allowed in the arena. Finally broke his Madison Square Garden previous career high. Dreamy only scored 1 point, a plus 22, dished out the final Curry shot to put an exclamation point. Game everybody on that Blazers team will forever remember. 2022 NBA Finals Game 4 at Boston. All that outside noise of needing a Finals MVP, the excuses, negativity, surrounded by the media, many still mention Durant's name. A Boston team with top-notch defense gave Durant his worst playoff series. Golden State down 2-1, in need of a win. Draymond at the height of his struggles, a hostile environment. Never easy playing the Celtics in the finals, regardless of what era. Back-to-back threes late first quarter, his finest finals performance that heavily stood out in the win, 43 big points, 7 triples, 10 boards, made Boston pay every single time for closing out late. When asked about his performance, Curry doesn't rank any of them. Understanding the importance of winning for the team, 33 of those points in the first 3 quarters made Boston so furious they tried to trade threes with the Dubs down the stretch and end up paying for it. Curry leading his team to a win on the biggest stage, outscoring his starters 43-39 at age 34. Many guys that age aren't even half the player they once were. Brown and Tatum combined just 44. Steph received some MVP chants hurt in the arena. After some worry about Curry hurting his foot in the power-up for Game 3, many were scared about his status, only to have his second highest scoring finals game of his career. Years from now, we'll look back at Curry being the smallest player on the court, stacked against length, athletic wings, and still winning, proving the significant difference between a generational talent versus an emerging superstar in Jason Tatum. After the performance, nobody can ever doubt Curry's greatness. Aside from 2016, all the other times he didn't win Finals MVP gets overblown with unfair criticism. Too many other amazing performances to not include, from struggling beginnings, putting himself in the map, to taking over the league and the entirety of the sport. Basketball revolution. Hundreds of years from now, looking back at the game invented by Dr. James Naismith, the three-point line was first used by the ABL 70 years after the invention of the game of basketball. The three-point line lasted just a year and a half then, but took over 30 years for the NBA's existence to come up with the three-point line, for Steph to accelerate the most lethal shot in basketball. When there's a basketball textbook decades from now, Steph Curry will have one whole chapter dedicated to his greatness and what he brought to the game. Thank you so much for watching this video. Which one of these Steph Curry performances was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. I love all of you. See you next time.